So guys, we're currently in Camden, currently in the market. Have a little look. So, cool. So there's quite a few occultic shops in the locality, and we're going to just be sort of going into these shops and seeing if we can have some conversations with the shopkeepers, and also seeing about the members of the public, seeing what they think about spirituality, and then of course preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. So stay tuned, we'll see what's going to happen.
I believe that when my energy is bad, everything's going to be bad.
Okay.
Everything.
Okay.
So I need to clean my energy. So I bought things to clean the energy.
Okay.
This one is good.
Yeah.
Just put it in your room and light it on. Yeah, that's.
So can I ask you, see on the earth, right? Do you believe that you are created by a creator? Are you going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
I want to
you.
let you know that, see, Jesus Christ is the only way to true salvation. Don't worry about energy, worry about Jesus.
Thank you.
See you later. Yeah, we're here right now in a store in Camden. What's your name?
Valentina.
Valentina.
The shop is called Kena.
Kena.
Camden.
Okay, so can you let us know what your spiritual beliefs are?
So yeah, I do consider myself spiritual.
Yeah. In what terms?
And
How do you or partake in your spirituality?
Yeah, it happened. It is a bit personal, but it did happen, and I don't know how and why. But one night, I really remember the night, and I literally had a kind of enlightenment.
Okay.
And I saw it, and that's why I know that what I believe is because it's something I've seen and I felt, which is a kind of big energy up there that moves stuff and makes things happen. So in that sense is my belief. I know there is a force that makes things.
Okay, and do you believe that is the creator? The one that created, or do you think that's an entity? How do you understand?
I don't know that yet. But I know that there is a big energy. Yeah, and I know there is a big energy that makes things move around.
And on the basis of spirituality, what do you feel the purpose of our existence is on this earth?
That's also a big question. Something I understood that day in that enlightenment moment, it was that every single person has a purpose. Maybe something everyone here says, but I really saw it and I understood which one is my purpose, and that was amazing. But I definitely saw that everyone has one. I don't know yet if I know what is the purpose of all the human life in here, but definitely I believe that we're energy, which is infinite, there is forever. And right now the difference is that we have a body. So for sure, if we've been given a body, it's probably to do something in here. But I really believe it's just, I mean, when you die, it's not, you just disconnect from the body, but here it's energy. You don't really die. You just lose your body, kind of, let the body end. So this is what I believe. So for sure there is a reason if we've been given a body and we are here to do something, and I know everyone has a purpose specifically.
So can I ask you a question? Based on the spirituality that you pertain into and you live by, do you feel that you found the fulfillment that you're looking for, or are you still looking for that fulfillment? And I'm talking about something that pertains consistently, not something that you feel temporarily and then the fulfillment's gone and you've got to keep searching for it. Do you feel like you have found the existence of fulfillment entirely in life?
In my own, you mean in my own? Okay.
Or are you still
if I reply and I'm not replying your question, ask me again.
Okay, that's fine. So what I'm asking...
What I understood that night is that I realized what is my purpose, and then I realized that I'm already doing what is my purpose, and that was amazing. And what I'm doing is that it might sound very basic, but I just really feel it, that I kind of, through my job, which is making documentaries, and I document and biographies of stories of people, because I think every person can teach us something, and every person gave me something also that they understood in life. All of these make you understand more about everything. So kind of my purpose is really take these stories and retransmit it to other people, because I think it's all about sharing. When you learn something, you need to just pass it on.
It's the truth, I agree.
And this is what I feel, and that's why I feel that I feel fulfilled when I do my job. If this is the question, I do feel good when I do that.
But say, what I'm seeking the answer of is that, say, when all of that stuff is not being done, when you're not at work, when you're not doing your documentaries, and you're at home by yourself, just you by yourself, can you say that you have a consistency in fulfillment and contentment with life? Or do you find that you have to continue to do things in order to fulfill fulfillment? In your honest opinion. And I want you to
God,
reflect
it's something
on
I
that.
never thought about that.
Okay, because it's not something that every human being actually thinks
Yeah.
about, because they're kind of on a life of a hamster wheel, just going round and round and just
Yeah.
getting by
No,
on the next experience to feel good, right?
Yeah.
Can you say that that's the lifestyle that you say that you feel?
Wait, I need to think a lot about this.
Just take a
Also
moment.
because when I am home alone, I'm kind of never really doing nothing, because when I'm home and I have the time to be home,
So
it's
you're
really
constantly
no,
doing
it's
things.
really the moment that for me is the most precious time,
Yeah.
because it's the moment where I can do my documentary or my
Yeah.
project, which is what made me feel fulfilled.
If you- if
so
you-
I actually never.
But if you was to
Unless
pause,
in the morning
if
when
you
I do
was
my
to
body, like
pause-
kind of meditation moment that is the moment where I do nothing maybe, but I never thought about.
What would you say if I was to tell you now
Yes.
that myself, I'm a spiritual person,
Yeah.
and regardless whether I'm in lack, whether I'm in abundance, whether I'm still, whether I'm moving, whether I'm doing or whether I'm resting, I found a contentment and a spiritual path that isn't about what I do but who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And that I don't have to chase after fulfillment. Do you feel that that's something that you've heard from?
Yes, wait, I understood now what you're saying. That
Okay.
You don't need to do something to feel fulfilled.
Because as
your
human-
own existence is something that makes you feel
But
fulfilled.
because as human beings, we consistently run after stuff. Like
Yeah.
you said, you do your documentary, you work, and you're constantly on the go.
Yeah,
And you find your fulfillment from being on the go.
I understand what you're saying. Yes,
Yeah. And that's how you find your fulfillment, from being on the go with the things that you need to do.
I don't know.
You haven't
I don't
thought
know
about it?
anymore. I didn't
Okay.
think about this.
Yeah.
Also,
No,
because fulfillment is really a strong, it's a
yeah,
deep.
it's deep.
It's not just about asking, are you happy, not happy? I
And
mean,
it's not
not
something
about
that
It's
human
something
beings
else.
think about, really.
Yeah.
Until you're asked that question, you've not thought about
Yeah.
that, and it's almost in that moment you're like, have I found it? And you
Yeah.
actually think about it just then.
Yeah, I'm trying.
No.
In the meantime, I'm getting lost because I'm thinking about also because.
It's very interesting.
This is one of the things I mean about sharing. Maybe just the fact that you live, you exist, you're here for something that maybe can help someone else to understand something or to make them feel good, whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe you feel you're doing nothing, but maybe you are.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, even if I'm just home alone, doing
Not
nothing.
doing no work, just in
if I
that
do
place
feel
of peace.
it-
Do you have that,
maybe I'm-
that peace inside of you fulfilled from nothing?
I kind of wish to tell you I think I do.
Okay.
But I think all of this comes also because of, for example, in general, not in the moment, but what people give me, or check this something now.
It's okay.
If people give me a lot, for example, and I feel that if you feel full with this, you can give to other people, but that doesn't mean it's not always direct. Like
Yeah.
this. The energy is strong, you know, like
Because,
it
but
moves around.
that still falls onto an expectancy of people as well, because that would be that we're expecting of another person. But I'm talking
No,
about.
no, I'm not talking about that.
Maybe
Never
I
expect
misinterpreted.
nothing. No,
Maybe I
never.
misinterpreted you. So what did you just? Can you just repeat that just so I can
I feel in
understand?
general, I feel also, I'm not saying it's essential for me, but the people give me a lot.
All right.
And I'm not talking about I need people to feel good or happy. I'm really good alone. I'm really, but like even just right now, what's happening right now, I think it's something that fulfills you. Like we are doing an
But this
exchange,
is yes, and that's
which
a
is
temporary.
it makes you grow. If
That's-
you need me, call me. Are you all together?
No, these are my friends.
Okay, perfect. But
So the reason why
so I'm
saying
just
that
thinking,
is
maybe
'cause-
even when I'm alone home and I do this kind of job where I just simply feel fulfilled and good, it's kind of energy, and this you bring it with you when you go out of the house, and this could help someone. I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
if-
As a human being, when in our natural setting, we feel that we need to do to fulfill. We see it in all different, even outside of spirituality. We see it with people that have a job that gather finance. Their fulfillment is found in gathering finance. We sometimes see it in spirituality that people will meditate to find fulfillment. We find it in some method or another.
Kind of, you always need to find a way to feel fulfilled.
Yes. See,
You know, I
the
just
pl-
come back from a kind of a trip, not really just a few months ago,
Uh-huh.
and I was with my partner. We were in the Amazon rainforest, and we've been in the forest with communities and stuff. So it was really like going back to
Yeah.
what was our
Doing the
true
ayahuasca?
nature.
The ayahuasca
I didn't
stuff?
know.
Okay.
And but it was enough. Just the experience to be in the rainforest with the. It was kind of going back to a pre-capitalist world, you know, like it was just the most natural way of living.
Yeah.
Like it's just living. It's just living.
But then again, through what
And
you're saying is an
when-
experience.
Yeah.
So it's another thing to find a fulfillment in. There's a
Yeah,
reason why
but
I'm
maybe
saying all of
that made me realize when we come back. It really made me realize that we're surrounded by so many impulses and really useless things, thoughts, action, everything that you get busy. So in our society, maybe it's difficult to understand what is true, find that spiritual
Yeah.
or that true fulfillment with nothing.
But see when we speak about that experience that you had in the rainforest that you had, and it was really enlightening. But as soon as
I had it when I come back.
Oh, you had it when you come back. So then when you come back, you realize that there's so much going on right now.
Yeah, it doesn't give you time to
do
nothing and stay with yourself.
But that situation that happened in the rainforest was a temporary situation.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I'm saying all of this, there's obviously purpose behind what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I kind of just want to share my spiritual beliefs. Because of my spiritual beliefs of what I believe in changed my life a few years ago. I was once addicted to crack and heroin. I was once a man that was a drug dealer. I used to get involved with all different skullduggery. I've been stabbed before, used to own firearms, all of that lifestyle once upon a time. And what happened is that I got into a place where I was really broken, and I called out to God to change me. Now, before I continue, I want to understand, what is your perspective on God as a creator, or do you have a different sort of view of what God is? Do you believe in God, or do you believe that God is something else?
Again, I don't know how to call it. For example, my boyfriend is religious, Catholic, so he believes in God and all that. And when we speak, I realize in the end we say the same thing. It's just he gives some names and I just don't.
Yeah.
So as I say, I've seen this energy and this force that probably is what you call God.
Okay.
I just don't feel to give a name because I don't know the name. I just see it as a strong force to make things happen. And yeah, maybe I'm pretty sure it must be this force. From this force, it must have been. We must have been created.
Yeah.
So probably yes. I mean, I could tell you yes. I just don't feel really to put that
I
word
understand.
God, but I really think it's probably we're talking probably about the same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing, same entity, same energy, same force.
Yeah. So I just want to just say to you myself, I believe that every single one of us human beings were created with a purpose, and that is to have a relationship with the Creator. Now, though there may be many spiritual paths, the spiritual path that I believe to be the path that gets to the actual divine source is through Jesus Christ. Now, when I say Jesus, what do you think? A religion straight away? Like you said your partner's Catholic, so it would fit into a category of religion.
Really, way actually it's just a spiritual.
But see, if I was to just put it onto the perspective like this, see us, we're creatures that are insufficient. We need something more than it's just ourselves. And see, what we do is, as people, we seek for it in all these different places, like we've been discussing, experiences, situations, doing something, being on the go, and all of these kind of things. And what human beings like us try to do, we try to fit the box of God in every different place, but we find a temporary satisfaction. Now, when Jesus came into this earth 2,000 years ago, he said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life, and no one goes to the Father except through him. Now, a lot of people understand that to be about heaven or hell. If you want to go to heaven, you've got to go through the door. But see, to get to the Father on this life, we must go through the door that is Jesus Christ. Now, I'm not saying that all of this stuff is not a spiritual path, but for a spiritual path to get to the Creator, there's one path, and that's through Jesus. And I can say that in my life today, I found that place of deep fulfillment and contentment in lack, in gain, in anything, because of a relationship I have with God. And it's something we all need, because we're all creatures that need something more than ourselves.
And how you connect with God? Like, what is your way to connect?
So the way that I connect into God is, but I have faith in what Jesus Christ done at the cross, because he actually laid down his life that we could have life. And a lot of people think that that's just a life on here on after. But see, when he was on that cross, what he actually did was, he was forsaken like we are forsaken because of the lifestyle of sin that we live. And he took that position of being forsaken that we can be seen and adopted into sonship. Now, the place that I'm speaking of is sonship that could be found as an exchange that happened at the cross with Christ. And it's a supernatural thing because of what we can't do by ourselves. When we place faith in Jesus, supernaturally we inherit what Christ was, that we actually become children of God.
You kind of challenge with
it's an exchange.
You kind of challenge over the, but then also you speak about Jesus and you're meaning God.
So Jesus was the Son of God. And see, at the beginning when God said, let there be light, that word light was Christ, and that word was manifested into a human body. That was Jesus. So Jesus is the flesh, the word of God manifested into a bodily form. So when Jesus said, I do not speak unless the Father speaks, and I only do what the Father does, it's because that he was the word embodied.
No, these are again, it can be different beliefs and everything. Everything is right, I think, because whatever you believe is your own truth. So everything, I think, can be true. But for example, this made me think that if you ask me, can energy be taken shape? I think yes, for example. So now I just thought for the first moment that maybe Jesus is kind of energy that took shape. So it's
now the question I want to ask you, just the final
yeah.
question that I want to get onto, is that it says in the scriptures, it says that every single one of us is appointed a day that we shall die. We know that on this natural existence, there will come a day that we cease in our bodily form. And then it says, onto that comes judgment. Now, according to the way that we live our lives, and we know that in our minds, in our hearts, and in our actions, we try to do good, but find ourselves doing contrary to that. We try to live a certain way, but find ourselves not quite living to that standard that we're trying to live by. And see, that way necessarily is contrary to what we try to do. Now, we may be able to do good things, but to live in a way that is perfect, we can't do it. Now, because of that, if we was to be judged according to our lives, judging on the standard of perfect, we're going to fall short, right? Would you fall short if you went for a holy God and God required you to be perfect? Are you going to be perfect before God? Do you reckon?
Now it's just because now I will mix. It's inevitable. I mix something that I think, but with also things that my boyfriend will tell me back, and you really just do. So then I kind of know where you're going, so I know what I should say.
I want you to say what you want to say. I don't want you to say
Are you referring to the fact, for example, and this was nice when I met my boyfriend. At the beginning, I was not spiritual at all. By the way, like this is all a kind of new thing, like a few years or something. But sorry,
it's okay.
But. Is this why at least he told me, like, maybe you think you're doing something good, but you don't have experience enough to understand if this is good. And that's why you follow the commandments and all of that.
No, I don't follow commandments.
Is it something like that?
No.
Not?
So we can do good. Just for example, if we saw a homeless person outside and we fed them, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But to consistently be good, we can't. So the commandments, we cannot actually live by the commandments. It's impossible. Because it's a standard that God showed us what is perfect. And to keep the commandments...
then you cannot be perfect because all is perfect.
You can't. Then that's where the good news comes in. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
The reason why Christ is important for every single human being is because he was perfect. And when he was on that cross, he died as a perfect person in our place. That because we're not perfect and he is perfect, when we put our faith in what he done at the cross, we then can stand in the presence of God. See, the only thing that stops us as human beings standing in the presence of a holy God is sin. And see, the way that our sins can be wiped away and walk in a place righteous with God is by putting faith in the one that was perfect, and that's Jesus. So a lot of the time we can get so caught up with Jesus being a religious figure, but really he's a spiritual path that we can actually stand in the presence of a holy God, and not only stand in the presence of a holy God, but be supernaturally changed in character, in our heart and in our mind, not just with our actions.
And how you do it?
And that's by faith alone in what God done. And see, I want to let you know, it doesn't just change your actions, but it changes your heart, it changes your mind, and it actually allows you, by a supernatural grace, to live a life of purity unto God. Not by trying, but by being. So going back to that original statement, today I've found a path that I'm content and fulfilled, not in what I do, not coming to speak to you about situations. I do this because I genuinely have compassion for people to come to a place of enlightenment that is beyond anything that can be experienced when anything like this. I'm not saying all of this stuff's not a spiritual path, but this is the path that was given unto man to get to the divine creator, and I want everyone to experience that.
And I feel that's why I feel everyone has his own, especially spirituality. I think also is so personal. It's actually even a bit difficult to explain. You explain it very good in your own your experience, but it's also so personal and it's so amazing when it happened. I really hope that everyone can have this kind of enlightenment.
So where would you be going if you was to?
For example, I feel that maybe a bit of what you're feeling, I'm kind of getting there. I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
But for example, if I say what I believe, how I'm getting there, I realize, again, maybe I believe more in energy or kind of the universe, but there is this big force who manages to move things in the universe. So what I do is not something I focus to do, but when you look at small things, you realize how things work. And there's been a moment where I realize, for example, I don't believe in coincidence. Me personally, I realize everything happened because it's not coincidence. It's supposed to be like that. You just need to follow the right message that you get, but you need to be able to be open to look at this message. Small thing, really microscopic thing. I receive someone in the shop, I realize that maybe they need something to feel better or whatever. Maybe I don't buy it for myself because I can't afford it, but when I feel like someone needs, I just magically get the money and I make a little gift, and then like, 2 customers later, they give me a tip, for example. You know what I mean? And when you start to notice all of this, I realize, wow. And I realize this in many small things. if you miss the bus that morning because you had to miss it because maybe something. So I start to believe in all this. Everything happened for a reason, for real. I know it sounds a sentence
Everything
we all
does
say,
happen for
but
a
I
reason,
really,
for sure.
I saw it. I understood it. I saw it, and I think it's because there is this force who makes things happen.
Yeah.
But you need to go with that.
It's true. I do understand that.
That's what I mean. Follow it.
So based
Listen
on
at that. I don't know.
based on the last day that you live, whenever that shall be, because we're not even promised tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're only promised this specific
Yeah.
moment right now,
Yeah.
and in the next moment we don't
Yeah.
know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, according to the standard that we should live by,
Yeah.
if you was to be judged, where is it that you believe that you'll be judged according to? Do you think you'll walk on the line of being perfect, being judged according to your own life, or do you believe that you're going to fall short to the standard that God offers us? Because I would fall short from the standard that God offers us. In my own personal belief, from the way that I've lived in my own ability, I'm entitled to a
Because
place called hell.
I understood now what you say, but because
But,
your faith,
but because of my faith in Christ,
okay, I understood what
I'm
you're
now
saying.
judged by His work. By who Christ was, I'm judged by that.
Because you're following that.
Yes. So
Yeah.
all you must do is have faith in Him, and you're not judged according to you. But the beauty of it, it's not about just not being judged, but then you're transformed into the image of Christ. And see, I want to just say, and I want to leave you with this question just to look at. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see each other again because I'm in Camden all the time. In your life in secret, when you're not at work, when you're not in front of anyone, the person you are then, the position you are in your heart, in that place of judgment, where is it that you'll be going? Because that's what's going to matter. Not what you say to me, not what you say to anyone, not how you represent yourself in public, but how you are. And I genuinely want to let you know that I don't think it's by chance that I've come in and wanted to speak to you today and that you've had a desire to speak to me, because there is a path of enlightenment with Christ that doesn't just matter for the here on now, but matters on the here on after. Because we can have all of this stuff now, but on that day that we die, all of this stuff's perishable, and what's going to matter is when we go before the judgment seat of Christ and you get asked, did you know Jesus? And if you did not know Him, there's a place that I do not want you to go. Okay? And
Yeah, I
just
know,
say
I see
that.
your point, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
What's
I
your
really
name, by the way?
My name's James. I'm going to give you my
James,
card so we
okay.
can connect. It's a pleasure speaking to you.
Yes, nice to speak.